The wait is finally over. It's time to kickstart the Formula Regional Middle East Championship 2024. After a long period of absence, it's great to be back here at the YAS Marina circuit, at the scene of where Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton duelled for the world title in Formula 1 3 years ago. And now we are ready for a brand new challenge, the second ever Formula Regional Middle East Championship. New drivers, new teams, and new challenges. So let's have a look at what's in store for 2024. Formula Regional Middle East Championship returns for its second season, having taken over from F3 Asia, and intends to build upon a strong campaign in 2023. Here's who to watch for this season. Race GP are back for more, having won the team title 3 years ago, with Tukka Tapanen and Martinez Stenshorn eager to build on their F4 and Freca successes, with Jesse Carrasquedo and Zachary David joining forces with the team from France. For the first time, XL Motorsport are stepping up to Formula Regional, and whilst they're under no illusions that there's a lot to learn, the team is keen to see what they can do, and with Noah Lyle and Yaroslav Veselaho behind the wheel, they definitely have talent. PHM, with the new Ikes partnership, will have a new look and a new thirst for domination. Taylor Barnard continues his Formula 3 prep with a return to the Middle East, and he wants to win the title, with Brando Badua, Taz Indovivazak and Rick Gillieu also hoping to challenge for wins. MP Motorsport are running a tough operation this year, with equipment stalled on a crate coming back from their Indian racing campaign. But that won't stop drivers Nikhil Bora, Emo Fittipaldi Jr., Valerio Rinicella and Bruno Del Pino pulling out all the stops to go for the gold. Santaloc are now well settled in single-seaters, but Formula Regional is another huge challenge. So the talented trio of Teofil Nal, Spanish F4 champion, along with Matteo De Palo and Pedro Clero, are hoping they can burst out of the block to the top of the sheets. After last year's strong run to the title, expect the same from Mumbai Falcons, operated by Prema. Rafael Kamara and James Wharton return to Prema, now in Formula Regional, and Red Bull ace Arvid Lindblad and McLaren young gun Yuga Chukwu will renew their battle from Italian F4. Pinnacle have some serious firepower in the squad this season, as Formula 3 driver and Eurocup title contender Marty Boyer comes back for another crack at victory, with Ginetta star Finley Green and the likes of Alexander Abkasava and Giovanni Mascio hoping to put the hard work they've done in the winter to good use. The Chinese team R&B Racing are back, and this time they have selected a fledgling young ace in Gao Yujia, who partners sports car race Wang Xiongwei. Don't expect too much from the Chinese pair, but they may turn a few heads if Gao's testing pace is anything to go by. Finally comes the returning Evans GP squad, who struck gold in Britain and are now ready to do the same in the United Arab Emirates. It won't be an easy campaign for either Britain's John Bennett or Australia's Costa Taparis, but both men are eager to triumph and will stop at nothing to make it happen. Well, the excitement is definitely reaching fever pitch now as we gear ourselves up ready for the first race of the Formula Regional Middle East Championship. Only the second year that the championship has run, having taken over from the initial Formula 3 Asia Championship. Now we are here ready for the first race of what is set to be 15 epic encounters. This will be the 16th ever Formula Regional Middle East Championship race. And straight after qualifying, it became clear that there's one man with a very serious objective. Taylor Barnard is back in the Middle East, and he's here to win, and he wants to win well. With the PHM team, now with the Ikes branding in cooperation, it'll be fascinating to see what he can do from the pole position right here. He's going to have the best possible run down to that first corner, which of course is the reprofiled hairpin on this support paddock layout of the grid. There in third position, it's a familiar face to those of you viewers who were here last year, but not in the same car as he was in 2023. Last year, he was fighting for the F4 UAE Championship title. Now he is here in Formula Regional. James Wharton of Australia, definitely with a great opportunity to come fighting straight out of the blocks. And he's not the only contender from last year's F4 UAE Championship to be right up at the sharp end of the dais as well. Because right up here on the front row of the starting grid for the Race GP team is going to be the man he fought with for that championship title. Tukka Tapanen, the Tiger, is going to be right here on the front row of the starting grid, starting alongside Taylor Barnard. An amazing opportunity for him as he wants to continue making great progress. There's Marty Boyer back in the paddock once again in Formula Regional, starting from fourth position on the grid with his new berth at Pinnacle Motorsport. He's definitely going to be an intriguing competitor to watch out for here on the starting grid. And he's here with one objective in mind. He wants to get as much out of this season as humanly possible. It's his first race with the team, and he's got plenty to do as he tries to quest for glory. And it'll be interesting to see what he does. It's going to be his first race with the Pinnacle Motorsport team. He definitely has a great opportunity and a lot of experience to come into this Formula Regional Middle East Championship season with. It'll make things particularly interesting for him as he goes off into the distance, hoping for a race victory. I actually caught up with Mari Boyer a little earlier about why he's back and what his objectives are for the 2024 Formula Regional Middle East campaign. One of the top drivers fighting for the Formula Regional title this year is absolutely going to be the man beside me. Formula 3 and Euro Cup 3 star, Mari Boyer of Spain. Mari, good to be here and good to see you back in the UAE once again.
Yeah, nice to see you as well. From last year, I really enjoyed the experience, so we thought it was a good time to prepare the season for Europe and coming back in here.
Now, after 3 seasons in the Formula Regional car, a year ago you came here and you were able to take your first Formula Regional win in Dubai. It was a fabulous performance and you put up a title attack. Coming back here for 2024, surely the objective has got to be champion.
Well, as many drivers, this is the main goal. It's my first team working with this team. I'm really grateful for them, for the opportunity they are giving to me. So at the moment the car looks really good. I'm really comfortable with them. So let's see how it all starts and let's see how it plays.
Now, there's not many drivers over the course of a season that can jump from a Formula 3 car to a Formula Regional car to a Euro Cup 3 car. Just how difficult is it to switch the head a little bit and make sure you have those little adjustments to be ready for each car that you're driving each time?
Well, I think a driver needs to adapt quick to all the situations, not only to the car, to adapt to the grip always we have on track. And I think it's a really good practice for me to know how to adapt quickly to all the situations, and doesn't matter the car I have to deliver the maximum. No?
Now, a lot of the drivers in this particular championship are using this as a chance to win a championship, but others are using it to gain more track time and more experience and more strength to prepare for the European season. Is it a little bit of both for you? Are you thinking the chance to win is obviously good, but it prepares the mindset and prepares the focus ready for the European campaign?
Yeah, I think when you are used to play for championships, this is the main goal also for Europe as well, for the FIA F3 season I have ahead. So if I am able to fight for the championship in here, I think I will deal with the pressure better in there and I will be more used to it. So this is the main objective. For sure the track time also helps. For sure it's better to be here than in home, and I'm super grateful for this opportunity.
Now, obviously you come from racing in Formula 3 last year, your first time full-time in the Formula 1 paddock. There's thousands of people who want to know what it's like living the dream of being a racing driver within a Formula 1 paddock.
Yeah, it's just an amazing experience. Hard to describe, just you have to live it to believe it. Yeah, it's amazing.
And of course, coming back here, this is a circuit you're familiar with, having done this a few years now, the YAS Marina circuit. What's it like to drive?
To be honest, I don't want to lie you, but maybe it's one of my favorite tracks, or if not my favorite one. I think have a lot of things this track, like long straights, really complex section in Sector 2, and I think for the racing, especially the Formula 1 layout, it's really good and really special.
So considering how competitive it's going to be amongst the different teams and drivers, a lot of talent stepping up from F4, some coming back from Formula Regional last year, yourself coming back from Formula 3. There's such a competitive grid out there. Who do you think are going to be the key players that you're going to be keeping an eye for?
Yeah, for sure the most experienced driver, I think at the beginning will be the ones that will be at least fighting for more. But it's true that some F4 drivers I never drive with them or I compete with them. So let's see how they go, how they race, and maybe when the first round finishes, I can tell you a bit more.
Well, hopefully it's going to be a very competitive season for you, Mari, and we wish you all the best, and hopefully it's a prosperous one. Good luck.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah.
So, Mari Boyer, one of many drivers that could be fighting for the victory in this particular escapade. There is Alex Abkasava, one of the beneficiaries of the very awkward start to proceedings that we had in the previous encounter, because we had a red flag in the middle of qualifying, if you remember. So, obviously going to be a very different situation for all of the competitors after the qualifying session, because we obviously had a very tricky situation in the middle of qualifying. We had a red flag for debris down at turn 6, I do believe. And obviously it was taken to red flag the session right at the point when drivers were starting to get their tyres up to temperature. There were quite a few beneficiaries of that. Alex Abkasava was definitely one of those. You can see there Noah Lyle, who actually has the Australian flag on his car, but because he races under a British license, he races under a British flag officially. There is James Wharton, champion of F4 UAE last season, now hoping to get the job done a year later in Formula Regional. A very different car, a very different challenge. There is Brando Badoa, getting himself ready for an exciting battle out there on the course. And there is Gao Yujia, who is one of the newest drivers in the Formula Regional Brigade. And I have to say, the R&B Racing team have definitely kicked up a gear a little bit compared to last time. We've had some very interesting challenges out there for all of the contenders, but good to see how tricky it's all going to be. So Brando Badoa there you're looking at for the PHM team. He's lining up 13th on the grid for this one, alongside the man who is in number 14 in P14, Matteo De Palo. There is Arvid Lindblad. Very difficult qualifying session for him in Formula Regional. He goes off P15 for this one. He was one of the drivers caught out by the timing of the red flag. And interestingly, I note that there is an absentee on the starting grid. We don't seem to have Finlay Green. I thought I saw him when I was down there on the starting grid, but it looks as though Finlay Green is not going to be taking up the start of this particular race. The Welshman having some mechanical problems by the look of it on the start of this one. There is Noah Lyle for the XL Motorsport team. This is actually the XL Motorsport team's first race in Formula Regional. They've done almost 136 races in F4 UAE, but they've never done Formula Regional before. So it could be an interesting situation. Seamless Shelf asks the question we're all wondering. I wonder who will become the 2024 Formula Regional Middle East champion. Well, there's a lot of debate about that one. Taylor Barnard is fast out of the blocks and certainly wants to continue his great run here. He says that by winning this championship, he will have enough super license points to race, not test, race in Formula One. So that's his objective. If he wins this championship, he will have enough super license points to get the job done. So from his point of view, he is very excited indeed about it. Then second on the grid, well, Tuukka Tarppanen. You run out of superlatives for this boy, you really do. The Finnish driver who is part of the Ferrari Racing Driver Academy definitely has a superb situation out there. So Ross Mansbridge wants to know, where's Rodin Carlin? Well, they're not part of the Formula Regional Middle East Championship. They don't have a team here in this one. I know they race in pretty much every other single-seater championship out there, but they don't have a presence in the Middle East or the F4 UAE Championship, so we'll have to see whether they can show up in 2025, and we'll figure our way further forward. So this is going to be an interesting start as the grid is finally cleared. So now it's time to see what will happen. Can Tuukka Tarppanen really do the unthinkable? He was the rookie champion in F4 UAE last year, second in the points championship as well, I do believe. Can he actually come straight out of the blocks and win on his Formula Regional Middle East debut up against Taylor Barnard, the man who fought for the overall title last year and was eventually beaten by Andrea Kimi Antonelli? What an opportunity this is. An amazing chance. And Bod Cole reminding me how old I am. Yes, doesn't seem 5 minutes since these guys were in cadets. I can remember being on the starting grid at Angeville in France in 2019 when some unknown Finnish driver called Tuukka Tarppanen burst out of nowhere and managed to get himself right up at the front end of the field and dominate the final in the European Championship. Right from that moment, we knew he was going to be a serious competitor in motorsport. And 5 years later, here he is with a chance to win on his Formula Regional Middle East debut. Is that Arvid Lindblad having problems getting his car started? Well, finally getting it going, but it looked as though he had his hands up over his visor there. I wonder if he's got some kind of problem. I wonder if a couple of drivers have got some kind of problem by the look of it. But certainly, Finn Green is going to not take the start of this race, so that's very unfortunate. However, we are on the march for the other 28 drivers. Taylor Barnard and Tuukka Tarppanen on the front row of the starting grid. James Wharton and Mari Boyer on the second row. Then Rafael Camara alongside Zachary David, Brazil versus Malta. Then in seventh is Martini Estension alongside Tazanapol Intrafuvazak from Thailand. Alex Abkasava is alongside Hugo Chukwu, the American. Valerio Renicella is alongside Teofil Nal, the Frenchman. 13th for Brando Badoa alongside the Italian Matteo De Palo. 15th place for Arvid Lindblad. He lines up alongside Rick Guiliu. Then John Bennett alongside the Mexican Jessica Resquedo. Nikhil Bora alongside Pedro Claro. Then Bruno Del Pino and Costa Taparis. Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. and Giovanni Mascio. From Noah Lyle, Gao Yujia, Yaroslav Vesalaho. And with Finlay Green not taking the start, it is Wang Shongwei who will hold up the grid alone on row 15. Now, the only bit of news really from qualifying was a 3-place grid penalty for number 12. That is Alex Abkasava. He had originally gone 6th fastest, but was then demoted to P9 on the starting grid. So he was given a 3-place grid penalty. So this will be a really interesting situation then for continuing the situation. Now, apparently, I am told that there is a potential investigation going on for number 7. I don't know how accurate that is, but we'll do the race in its entirety and we'll see how it goes. Garlic Bread Game says, do the David Croft race start thing, please. I'm missing F1. I think you'll find I'll do the Jake Sanson start thing. This is Formula Regional, mate. Get with the program. So the competitors are lining themselves up into position. And we are going to get under starters' orders very quickly. Taylor Barnard for the PHMX Racing Team. Formerly the Muki Motorsport operation, of course, but it grew out of the ashes of that particular squad. Tuukka Tarpanen for Race GP in the number 1. Alongside him on the front row of the grid to the right of your picture, looking to charge his way further forward. And don't forget that when they come out of the main straight and turn left, as they go right through that long flying flat out apex, they will drop down through the corkscrew, a left, right, left, and then rejoin the back straight. So it'll be a fascinating situation as the competitors are in position at the back of the field. The last couple of cars will come into position. Taylor Barnard to the left of your screen at the front in the number 5 for PHM. Then it is the number 1, Race GP alongside for Tuukka Tarpanen. There is the last man in, Wang Xiongwei. He gets himself into position. 28 minutes plus 1 lap for the first race of the Formula Regional Middle East Championship in the United Arab Emirates as the final car of Wang Xiongwei gets into position at the back of the grid. We wait for the green flag. It waves at the back, and we are ready for the first race of the 2024 Formula Regional Middle East Championship. The lights are on. When they go out, we're underway. Let's race at YAS Marina. Perfect start from Tuukka Tarpanen. One of the Mumbai Falcons has been left on the grid and has now started moving, but it's a great start from Barnard, a good one from Tarpanen, and they have already started to jet clear. Up through the hairpin, there's a Mumbai Falcons right in the mix there as well. That looks like James Wharton, and a good start from Marty Boyer. So the top 4 have all got through without incident, but up in front it is Barnard, in front of Tarpanen, then Wharton, then Boyer, and then there's another Race GP car in the mix there. That's got to be Zachary David. So as they come up to the hotel, round the outside, that's Zachary David going for the move, trying to get through round the outside of Mari Boyer, and the Maltese driver absolutely going for it. Excellent work, and they're still side by side as they come out of the W Hotel complex. There's Arvid Lindblad trying to work his way back up the order after a difficult qualifying. So let's see how it all unveils along the home straight in Grand Prix. The first man in is Taylor Barnard, the second is Tuukka Tarpanen, and in third position, that is James Wharton, already starting to give chase to the Finn. It's just like 2023 all over again. But Boyer has not been able to hold off Zachary David, and right in behind him there, that looks to me like Rafael Camara, the Brazilian. And I think the driver who didn't really get away from the grid initially, that might have been Yugawuga Chukwu, I think. And there's a slow-moving car right at the back of the grid. It's one of the PHMs. So who is that that's in trouble? Can't quite make out who that is, unfortunately. Now, there is a number 7 under investigation for not following road notes concerning practice starts. Race director's notes, that should say. And that's Pedro Claro. So we'll have to double-check what's happened there to Pedro Claro. Big lock-up for Tuukka Tarpanen. He's going to miss the apex of the chicane. Tuukka, come on. You've got to have the eye of the tiger if you want to get this race won. He comes back on the circuit. Now, he shouldn't have to concede the position because he stays in second. So across the line they come. Up towards the hairpin again. And James Wharton already getting hungry and preparing himself for a move on Tarpanen. So we've got Barnard, Tarpanen, Wharton, Stenshorn, Boyer, Camara, Indrafavazak, and Zachary David. So after an initial good start, oh, it was Stenshorn that made the killer start. It wasn't David. David's still there in the top 10, but it's Martinius Stenshorn who was on the move early doors, and now Stenshorn is all over the back of James Wharton. Now, don't forget, Stenshorn's had a year in Freca to get himself up to speed, so he's definitely going to be one of the ones to watch. And he's already managed to deal with Mari Boyer fairly quickly. So now he comes through this double right apex. It's a double-edged sword coming back to do something like Formula Regional when you're already a Formula 3 driver. And for Mari Boyer, he's definitely finding he's having to do this the hard way. I thought he would probably assume he'd come into this and dominate, but it's not quite so easy to do that in Formula Regional. It's a tough car. It's very physical. Oliver Behrman did this for a couple of rounds
2 seasons ago and found it really difficult, but he was basically unlocking the key to be a good Formula 3 driver, and that's exactly what happened in 2022. Struggled in this, did well in F3. So a lot of drivers are hoping to use this kind of platform to move their way forward. Look at Barnard, he's just disappearing. Taylor Barnard, in absolutely no doubt of his intentions whatsoever, charging away, hoping that he can just dominate the Formula Regional Middle East Championship. It's only one race. It's got a lot of work to do. And look at that, James Wharton not throwing caution to the winds there, just taking his time with Tuukka Tarpinen. He knows that Tarpinen's locked up the brakes on the previous lap. He knows perfectly well that it's going to be pretty tricky out there. So he's going to have to work very hard to keep his balance. And you've got to look after tyres as well. End of lap 2. Barnard, Tarpinen, Wharton, Stenshorn, Boyer, Kamara, into Fuvazak, David, Abkasava, and Rinicella. Then Teofil Nal, looking for the reverse grid pole, but he's got to get past Valerio Rinicella if he wants to do that. Then Arvid Lindblad, John Bennett, Nikhil Bora, Matteo De Palo. Then Bruno Del Pino, the Euro Cup 3 rookie champion from last year, Pedro Clairot, Noah Lyle, and Yuga Chukwu all the way down in 19th, so it was a bit of a tough start for the American. So a very tricky scenario, I'm afraid, then for Yuga Chukwu, and he's really going to find it difficult to come back from that. Look how close they get to the Armco on the way out of the W Hotel. Flirting with a broken suspension all the way, goodness me. Oh, Bruno Del Pino trying to give me a heart attack on the way through W Hotel. Ay, 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 that was tricky. Well, the car that's at the back of the field is actually Brando Badoa. So, unfortunately, Luca Badoa's young son really struggling then in the first race of the season, having all sorts of problems. And Luca himself is here, the former Ferrari Formula 1 test driver who was there all the way through Michael Schumacher's incredible domination of Grand Prix racing back in the day. Now, let's have a look at a replay. What are we going to see here? This is one of the race GPs. That's Jesse Carrasquedo. Oh, that's the two R&B racing teammates. That's the one thing you don't do. What's the first rule in motor racing? You don't take out your teammate. Well, nightmare scenario for Gao Yujia and Wang Shengwei. And that's going to be a rather embarrassing conversation later. Looks like Wang Shengwei's let Gao Yujia have that one, but what's the Chinese for? I'm sorry, that was a bit of a clumsy clock moment. I'm afraid my Google Translate is not that good when it comes to Chinese. Bit of a moment there for Yaroslav Zalaho. Oh, the Evans GP actually tags the back of the Pinnacle as they come through. Now, that was a very racy-looking Costa Taparis, and he got very close there to the back of Giovanni Mascio. So Taparis and Mascio really struggling. Now they're side by side. Taparis trying to go the long way round. Mascio covering the inside. Well, they almost tripped over each other there. You've got to be so careful. Costa Taparis now knows what the rear diffuser of that car looks like. Certainly, it's a bit of a redesigned rear wing configuration. That's never going to work up the inside, as Jesse Carrasquedo thought he had a run on Costa Taparis. Goodness me. There's some bravery in the midfield, I tell you that. As Yaroslav Zalaho is in there, and so too is Gao Yujia. So an excellent performance in the midfield. Really good racing. It's not just at the front end of the field where the good battles are. Whoops, that wasn't the racetrack, I think you'll find. Giovanni Mascio overshoots that a little bit. Costa Taparis trying to close up again and find a move or two. And the Australian getting quite hungry to do so for the Evans GP team that return to Formula Regional Middle East this season. They took a year out last year, sold their operation, and then they've come back and had another crack at it. So, Taylor Barnard having an absolutely flamboyant run out front. No reason to doubt that he's going to be having a terrific run. So this is a really solid performance from Taylor Barnard up front. Tarpinen, Wharton, Stenshorn, Boyer, they just can't keep with him at the moment. So good battles in the midfield. So they continue to star their way through, but Taylor Barnard still just trying to move his way further forward as he continues this incredible run. So Taylor Barnard out in front. There is your leader. There's Tarpinen. James Wharton just trying to stay with him at the moment in the Mumbai Falcon. Martinius Stenshorn in 4th position. Just trying to work his way further. Look how close to that Armco the leaders are getting. You've got to have a fine line if you want the fastest route through. And as you can see, several drivers pushing the limit of what is okay. They're actually on the white line on the exit of that runoff area as they battle with the Armco. I tell you what, the fine line between success and failure is inches. So first track limits warning for the 34. That is Martinius Stenshorn, the man who worked his way to 4th position on that opening lap. 20 minutes done. And I tell you what, I think the safety car driver is getting quite comfortable at the moment. He doesn't need to be used for this first day of race action. Dropping down through the corkscrew now. Looks like one of the bollards has been inched out of position there by a couple of drivers battling away. But don't forget that there's been no racing on this particular section of the course for 3 years prior to this weekend. There's not a lot of rubber down there compared to everywhere else on the course. So Tarpanen, Wharton, Stenshorn, Boyer and Kamara, then in for Fuvazak, David, Abkasava and Renicella. Still having a really solid run at the moment up in the top 10. And still they continue on. Now let's have a look through the field and figure out who's having a difficult time of it, because obviously the 3 leaders are having a great race. Everybody else really struggling. Teofil Nahel was lightning in practice leading up to this, has not been able to really do anything about that. But Teofil Nahel now finds himself down in 12th position behind Arvid Lindblad, who's also had a very difficult race of it. There's the gap between Barnard and Tarpanen. 1.7 was the gap the last time around. Tarpanen actually fractionally quicker than Taylor Barnard. James Wharton fractionally quicker than both of them. So this race isn't over by any stretch of the imagination. We've still got 18 and 3/4 minutes left of it. So still a lot can happen in Formula Regional. You see how close Stenshorn came to planting one in the barrier. Dear, oh dear, and Arvid Lindblad likewise. They really do push the limits. James Wharton going off the road there, very much so, and as too does Rafael Kamara in the background. So some frustrations there, I'm sure, from both Mari Boyer and Rafael Kamara. I thought they'd come into Formula Regional and essentially be battling for every race win, but this first race of the season really showcasing how difficult it is to drive these cars. But you can see just how tough they are flirting with the limit. I've not done a lot of motor racing, but I can tell you that when you're in the middle of a race and it starts to become too much for you, when the physicality starts to take over you, it really does become a bit of a wrestling match with your own mind. You're trying desperately to push yourself further forward. You're just trying to inch every single corner. You just have to tell yourself, one corner at a time, one corner at a time. Let's nail this one, then let's nail the next one. And just keep working that magic. Now we've got more first warnings for turn 1 shenanigans. 18, 27, 47. So that is the trio of Tazid the Fuvazak, John Bennett and Nikhil Bora. So the 3 of them all having a little bit of a moment there on that last lap. So let's see how it all continues. Tuukka Tarpanen. Great work so far. Barnard in the lead. Tarpanen in 2nd place. Wharton in 3rd, looking for the opportunity. But Tuukka Tarpanen is a very difficult man to shake. Once he's in a rhythm, you're never really going to get under his skin. And James Wharton knows that. He fought with him all the way through last year in this very championship beneath it in F4 UAE. And it was in the corner they just went through that they tangled in the last race of the season, giving James Wharton the title. Like something out of London Formula E 2016, or dare I say it, Senna and Prost 1990 Suzuka. They're still really flirting with the exit of that corner. My goodness, they are pushing it. And you'd think that with the tyres starting to degrade, that's really going to be flirting big style. You've got to be so careful when you push the limits like that. The car is not always going to be your best friend. Sun is coming down here at YAS Marina. They can use the floodlights if they need to, but I don't think this is going to be a full-on night race. There is one planned for later in the season, you'll be delighted to hear. I think that's going to be through the 4th round of the championship. It might be the 2nd one next weekend, but I have a feeling it's round 4 that we've got the night race. Keep an eye on that one. So this is going to be a very interesting battle. Look at James Wharton. He's caught right back up to Tuukka Tarpanen, and also Mari Boyer putting pressure on Stenshorn. He's just popping out to have a look in his rearview mirror, just to remind Stenshorn, I'm here, don't forget about me. 10:16 is where the 2nd track limits warning comes for Taz in for Fuvazak, the Thai driver, who is currently running in P7 behind all this. Taylor Barnard in a different continent out in front, just looking so confident. You can just about see him when they go through turn 1. But he's becoming a microscopic dot in the distance as far as Tuukka Tarpanen is concerned. Here's James Wharton, though, the Australian. Recently announced that he is no longer part of the Ferrari Driver Academy, but he still has great support. Big lockup from Mari Boyer. You've got to be careful, Mari. Martini Stenshorn is beatable, but not if you're going to cook the tyres quite that well. And look again, just flirting so much with that white line on the exit of the W Hotel. You never get to see just how intense motor racing is until you see the lines that they're taking on the run through the W Hotel. And through that corner, they'll be doing about 120 miles an hour, don't forget. And as they get back on the power, it's a wider apex than in previous years. They had to reprofile the circuit in various positions on the course through 2021, and that was one of the corners that they dealt with. It's where Nicholas Latifi went into the wall, and then you know the rest of the story. 2021, we're not getting into that. We are getting into this, though, as Tuka Tarpanen is under big pressure from James Wharton. Slow in, fast out is the manner for James Wharton, and he knows he's got to run here on Tarpanen. Tarpanen knows it too. He's trying to shake James Wharton from the toe. Down the back straight. Third warning at turn 16 for Taz into Vuvuzak. He's got to be careful. He might get a penalty. Here comes the move. James Wharton's going to commit. Tuka Tarpanen hangs on to it, goes as long as he dares. And James Wharton has to back down. James Wharton really in the Daniel Ricciardo school of licking the stamp and sending it. Absolutely urging his way forward. Imagine when he gets to Formula One. Nobody's going to be safe from the Wharton send. In through the hairpin. Oh, a big twitch, though, from Wharton through turn one. As Barnard continues to increase his gap. A 1:43.6 is the fastest lap of the race, set by Taylor Barnard. So Tarpanen, Wharton, Stenshorn, Boyer. But you really can see that Tarpanen is losing ground here. He's going a second a lap slower than Taylor Barnard up front. And he is becoming the leader of a bit of a steam locomotive at the moment. And here are the carriages. Wharton, Stenshorn, Boyer. Still they battle. Love this shot. I've always loved the shot out of the W Hotel. You never know what's coming through there. Here they come. Up to the start-finish line of the Grand Prix circuit. Boyer a little bit closer to Stenshorn now. Looks like there's two Race GP competitors that are struggling for tyre life at the moment. Tarpanen in second and Stenshorn in fourth. Wharton and Boyer getting frustrated, sat in third and fifth. Come on, are those all the tyres you've got? Have you worked too much of them? Down the corkscrew. Love this section of the course. It gets so underused. And from a driver's point of view, they love it. Just because it shakes up this circuit, it gives them something very different to work with. And again, look, Tarpanen trying to break the draft. James Wharton is very quick out of the corkscrew. Just has a little bit of a look. That's not an overtake. That's a, remember, I'm still here. Don't back down. Still, they keep rundering through. These brilliant Tartus T318s giving us such amazing battling out there, and it's a little bit trippy in the midfield. That's the MP Motorsport of Nikhil Bora battling with Matteo De Palo and his teammate Bruno Del Pino. And I think, actually, John Bennett has dropped behind Bora and De Palo. Yes, he has. So Bora's come through, De Palo's come through. So a little bit of intriguing manoeuvring. Oh, John Bennett's got to be so careful there attacking the 44 of Teofil Nile, I think that is actually. It's Bora behind him. So Bora is still behind. And up in front, that's Valerio Minicello, one place away from the reverse grid pole. But how about this for street smarts? Arvid Lindblad currently in where? P10. And of course, with a reverse grid race, that's going to save Arvid Lindblad's weekend and potentially his momentum for the championship. Because 10th position would give him pole position for race 2. So Lindblad being incredibly smart here, getting into P10. Now, he doesn't want to catch Alexander Abkasaba, and he certainly doesn't want to let it slip. There he is in the Red Bull colours. Arvid Lindblad, one of the youngest members of the Red Bull junior lineup. There is one younger that I'm aware of, and that, of course, is Enzo Timbernichkul, the young Thai driver who was the Junior World Karting Champion back in 2022. Climbing up the gradient, through the left, and up through the right. Then you brake. You don't keep going down the hill like you would in Formula One. You brake, and then you turn into the left-hander here. Square left into the corkscrew section. Then you drop down through the right, through the left. No rubber laid down on this part of the course for about 3 years in race trim. So it definitely shakes things up a little bit. 10 minutes and 40 seconds to go in this race, plus the additional lap after that. And turn 4, first warning for the number 29 for track limits. Now the 29 is Gao Yujia, the Chinese driver for R&B. Side by side, Yugo Chukwu banging wheels with Noah Lyle. Get out of the way. I'm clearly faster than you, man. Read the writing on the wall. I'm coming through. Noah Lyle, not willing to play ball with Yuga Chukwu. You don't barge me out of the way. Here I come. He's going to try again. Oh, he really tried to go for the smallest gap in history, which Yuga Chukwu extinguished pretty early on into the run. That just shows you that although Noah Lyle's not where he wants to be this weekend, he can certainly mix it with Yuga Chukwu if he needs to, if given the opportunity. Speaking of being given the opportunity, two drivers in this race definitely haven't, and both are of Latin American persuasion. Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. nowhere near the pace that he was in earlier on. Certainly in practice, he was in top 5. Marty Boyer making his bid now to try and keep back Rafael Camara. Camara trying to go the long way round. Has he done it? The Brazilian's through. Great move from Rafael Camara. Excellent performance. I would love to have seen how that started, but it looks to me as though essentially Camara just got a better run out of the right-hander onto the Formula 1 straight and just managed to drive around Mari Boyer. Got his way up into 5th position. That's a couple of decent extra points snatched there by the Brazilian. Great work from Rafa. So still they battle on. And it's Taylor Barnard that leads now, consistently going anywhere between half a second to a second faster than any other driver. Up on the inside, that's a big late lunge! And that's not going to work for Zach David. And Alex Abkasava has to take avoiding action, but he's now going to get out of the way because there's several cars that he's accidentally overtaken there, including Mari Boyer. Get out of the way, move over, but don't let Zach David through. And that's exactly what he's done there. So Zach David went for the move, it didn't work, and both he and Abkasava had to take avoiding action and then let the field go by. So Zach David briefly in front of Mari Boyer, but not for long. So David is 8th, Abkasava is 9th. Now if these two trip over each other, then Arvid Lindblad's plan of getting reverse grid pole is going to backfire massively, because then he'll be promoted to 8th place. And that could, if they do tangle and both end up out of the race, then that would potentially give the reverse grid pole to Théophile Nile, the Frenchman. You can't take anything for granted in Formula Regional. Just when you think it's all done and dusted, something changes the dynamic. So here they come again. Tarpanen in P2. Stenshorn in 3rd. Now, where did he get Wharton? I didn't see that, but Stenshorn into 3rd position. I apologise. Stenshorn managed to get his way into 3rd position. Didn't see where he managed to jump Wharton, but that's big news for Race GP. So they've now got their cars right up at the sharp end of the dais. And that's important as well for the Teams Championship, because obviously the teams nominate which two drivers are going to be scoring points for them. And on this particular occasion, Race GP have nominated, guess who? Yep, Tarpanen and Stenshorn. And they're currently 2nd and 3rd. So that is very good news. Down this corkscrew. Hoping for more. Now let's see. Now this is Camara getting his move around the outside of Boyer. Now, unfortunately, Stenshorn's already got Wharton. I was too busy looking at Camara and Boyer to realise that Stenshorn had already got Wharton. But look at this, round the outside. That's brave. And Boyer actually had to get onto the inside curb because that's where Camara put him. That's ruthless. Rafael Camara, determined. I am overtaking you, and there is nothing you can do about it. That's how to go racing. Now, there's Arvid Lindblad in P10. Reverse grid pole incoming. But how about this? Here comes the move from John Bennett. Going to go wheel to wheel with Théophile Nile. Can John Bennett get into P12 for Evans GP? Oh, yes, he can. Nicely done as well. British driver not getting phased by the situation. Oh, but he does run a little bit deep on the exit. The back end trying to overtake the front, but John Bennett was equal to it. He measured that very nicely. Corrected the front end, didn't let the rear wing travel, and manages to park the car in the middle of this gaggle, right in behind Valerio Menicella. I have to say, that was a good overtaking move, a little bit of an error, but he saved it well. So well done to John Bennett. Still driving masterfully, up at the front end of the field. Taylor Barnard, not going to let anything fall away from him. Whoops! Meanwhile, further back, that is a bit of a mistake, unfortunately, for, I think, Matteo De Palo. So Matteo De Palo, who is tucked up behind Nikhil Bora, he just drifted wide there. And that, I'm afraid, is enough of a bit of a difficulty. So still they come on. Now, car 1 is under investigation for gaining an advantage off track. That is Tuukka Tarpanen in 2nd position. Now, I will be fascinated to know which advantage he's supposed to have gained. Was that when he went off the road? And when he rejoined? I didn't really think that was an incident worthy of that. Now, here's the move from Zach David. Banzai's on Abkasava. and they both have to overshoot. Abkazava gets back on the throttle to keep himself in front of Zach David. Not the cleanest execution of that defensive mode. And speaking of which, we've still got those two dueling away. Zachary David tries again on, is that actually on Intrafuvazak now? I think it is. That's Taz Intrafuvazak. So he's dropped Abkazava. He's now trying to take on the tie. So Turn is in front of him, as he is known. Taz Intrafuvazak trying to keep Zachary David behind him. Now, if Tarpanen is going to get a penalty, this could also backfire on Arvid Lindblad. Well, this is a fascinating situation. If Tuukka Tarpanen is going to be given a penalty for gaining an advantage, it must be when he overshot the final chicane. But I don't think, if that had been me, I wouldn't have really seen an advantage gained there, because he didn't lose or gain a position. He stayed where he was. Pedro Claro gets a second warning for turn 4. Maybe they've seen something on the delta times, though, of the sectors, and they've seen that actually Tarpanen got a better final sector than he would have done if he'd have taken the corner normally. And as a result, they feel, well, he hasn't conceded any time at all, so he's actually gained an advantage there. And if that's the case, then he's going to get a penalty. That could be devastating, not just for Tuukka Tarpanen, but also his growing legion of Tiger Cubs that watch him around the world. Tuukka the Tiger, second position for the moment, but will he stay there? There's a bit of a debate on that one at the moment. So through they come. This battle is fascinating to watch. It's really hard to know where to look, actually. There's so many battles going on. Coming towards us, we've got a bit of an issue. Sliding around, that's Valerio Menicella dueling away with John Bennett and Teofil Nal. Teofil Nal's got a good run on John Bennett here. Bit of a slide initially from Valerio Menicella, and now here comes the chance. Watch the Frenchman, Teofil Nal. He won the Spanish F4 Championship last year. Here he is in Formula Regional trying to take on John Bennett. Goes from the right to the left to the right. Hungry for the move. John Bennett goes out wide. Is there going to be enough throttle application from Teofil Nal to attack him into the W Hotel? He's certainly having a think about it. Goes left. Tries to jink out to the right. John Bennett covers the inside line. Teofil Nal can't just roll off the power, otherwise he'll go into the left rear quarter of Bennett's car. He has to back off the throttle. Under the W Hotel again. And still, stalemate. Very tough indeed to tell who's going to get this between Bennett and Teofil Nal. But if it stays like it is in the top 10, then Arvid Lindblad is going to get a reverse grid pole position. That'll do for a dodgy qualifying this morning, and he's made up 5 places to get there. That's why Red Bull have got him on the books. Not easy to gain five places mid-race in Formula Regional. It takes some real talent, and Arvid Lindblad has always had that real talent. Watched him before he even turned teenager in the British Karting Championship years ago. There he is, Arvid Lindblad in the Red Bull colours. One of the youngest on the Red Bull programme, and certainly another future sensation. And he's there in 10th position, looking good for a reverse grid pole. So let's see how it all continues to unfold. We've still got this incredible duel going on between Taz Intrafuvazak and Zach David, and we've got limited running left. A minute 50 as they come across the line in the top 10. There is Rafael Kamara, who has got past Murray Boyer, but he can't get close enough to his teammate to really challenge James Wharton. And isn't it fascinating, after last year's domination by Andrea Kimi Antonelli and his teammates who battled him for the title, we're only going to get one Mumbai Falcon on the podium. In fact, we're not even going to get that, are we? Because James Wharton's now behind Martini Estenshorn. So in the first race of the season, the Mumbai Falcons have done well, but they haven't done well enough to thwart Taylor Barnard or the Race GP twins. So can Tarpanen dodge a penalty? Because he is being investigated. Side by side. Now, this is the challenge further back. This is Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. and Ricky Liu. Fittipaldi Jr. trying to hold it round the far side. Just like his dad. Lovely stuff from Emo Fittipaldi Jr., the son of the 1972 and 74 world champion. Big dive on the inside from Ricky Liu. No, you don't, says Emo Jr. Try again. Costa Taparis may get a run on Ricky Liu now. This is sensational stuff in the midfield. Good work. Emo Fittipaldi Jr. not going to be intimidated by a banzai move from Ricky Liu. He's just going to keep to his line, stick to his guns, and keep himself in the fray. There is the battle further back. There's Emo Jr. And look, he's just checked out away from the two drivers back. Ricky Liu's actually lost the position there to Costa Taparis. So Tabara's got through on Ricky Liu without any issue at all. And I think Ricky Liu's got a problem, because he's certainly lost a lot of time very quickly. Still again, Zachary David all over the back of Tazzy Devuvazak, another lock-up. These cars are so easy to lock up under brakes. You should remind yourselves of that, because these are very heavy brake pads. It's a very heavy car, this. The higher up the ladder you go, the heavier the car and the more downforce you have to combat. Into the last lap we will go next time. So Taylor Barnard has one objective in mind. He wants to win this championship. If he does so, he'll get enough super license points to be a qualified Formula One driver. He's picked up a lot of super license points over the years as Taylor Barnard, and a championship win in Formula Regional Middle East will prepare him for that. And don't forget, he's a reserve driver in Formula E for the Neon McLaren team as well this year. So he is one hot property, Taylor Barnard. There is Zachary David, the Maltese driver, right in behind Tazzy Devuvazak from Thailand. And further back, we've got a decent battle cooking up by the look of it. That looked like Giovanni Mascio and Jesse Carrasquedo having a bit of a duel. But there is your leader, Taylor Barnard, having a wonderful run. Jesse Carrasquedo actually has a first warning for track limits. That's why we just picked him up for a moment. But there is Taylor Barnard, one of the most impressive drivers last year. Kept the title fight alive as long as physically possible in his duel with Andrea Kimi Antonelli. But this year, it doesn't even look like he's going to have a battle for the title, judged on this current pace. He's just been able to disappear in front of Tuka Tarpanen. Third warning for track limits for the 13. That's James Wharton. Careful, James. You're in fourth position. You could even pick up a podium here if Tuka Tarpanen does get a penalty for gaining an advantage. That's what he's being investigated for. I get the feeling that you're not going to find out the results of that one until a couple of hours, maybe after the race, when that is finally investigated and the decision made. But into the last lap we go then. Final lap begins. And Taylor Barnard looking sweet as a dandy up front. Domination. Thy name is Taylor Barnard. Second place, Tuka Tarpanen, and Martini Stenchon, his teammate, in third, with James Wharton close, but no cigar, in fourth place. And dare I say it, touch wood, we haven't had a single yellow flag period, or safety car period even, in the entire first day of competition here at the YAS Marina circuit. It's round the outside, trying to threaten that statistic, comes Bruno Del Pino and Yugo Wugachukwu. Come on, don't jinx me right now, Bruno. He just about gets away with that. I never thought I would come into the first race of the season and see two perfectly squeaky clean and yet perfectly thrilling races, and that's exactly what we've done. 2024, after all the criticisms of, oh, well, it's just bumper cars, it's just safety car fodder. Not in 2024, it seems. The talent has risen to the challenge, the credence has accelerated, and we've got some real firecrackers behind the wheel in 2024. This is one of the most competitive, certainly one of the most mature racing fields in single-seaters at the junior ladder that I've ever witnessed. And it is really great to see. And it's wonderful that you've all picked up on that as well. The cleanest race opener for years that I've seen, says many of you. But out in front, Taylor Barnard is going to get the job done. There's no debating who deserves to win this one. He has controlled it throughout. There's a last gasp effort for Wharton. He's not going to get there, but Taylor Barnard is. Taylor Barnard takes the checkered flag and wins in fine style for the BHM Ikes Racing team. Epic job from Taylor Barnard. Boom, bang, tidy. The boy wonder is back. And Barnard has done it. Superb, absolutely superb. This is a really exciting situation now for him. Now, interesting, car 18 and car 20 under investigation for constant abuse of track limits at turn 7. Now, that is going to be Tazzy Devuvazak and Zachary David. That could come back to bite them and Arvid Lindblad. If they get penalties, Lindblad may not finish 10th. And I tell you what, if both David and Devuvazak get penalties, you know who could end up on reverse grid pole? John Bennett. Now, that would be fantastic for the Evans GP team. Well, I'm afraid we can't quite make any confirmations and decisions of that yet. There's still a lot more to do. There's still a lot more to discuss. But certainly for the moment, Taylor Barnard enjoying the moment and enjoying life at the front again. Formula 3 was good. Formula Regional Middle East 2023 was pretty good. This is perfect. What a way to start the season. 2024 has been a very good start for Taylor Barnard and Kia Nakamura-Berta. The Brits have been amazing. Nakamura-Berta doing well in F4 UAE and coming through for the win. And Taylor Barnard doing the same in Formula Regional Middle East. And I'm going to evoke the words here of the Gaming Badger on YouTube. I'm shocked at how clean these races have been. I wouldn't say shocked. Pleasantly surprised is how I'll put it. But when you look at the talent on this grid, when you know as much as I do about the level that these guys are all at, the ability that these guys have demonstrated leading up to this, the credence and the quality of the drivers just gets better and better every year. And it's wonderful to see that the mechanics have actually got a fairly easy Saturday night ahead of them. They don't have to worry too much about crash damage, that's for sure. Well done to all the drivers. Barnard, Tarpon, Stenshorn, Wharton, Kamara and Boyer, all provisional, of course, into Vuvazak, David, Abkasava and Lindblad, hoping that the result doesn't change, because then he gets a reverse grid pole for tomorrow. Then Renicella, Bennett, Niall, Nikhil Bora and Matteo De Palo, Yugo Chukwu from Del Pino, Claro, Noah Lyle and Emo Fittipaldi Jr., who gave us plenty of great race action out there. Then Taparis, Ricky Liu, Giovanni Mascio, Jessica Cascado, Vasalaho, Gao Yujia, Wang Zhongwei, Brandon Badoa, and Finley Green, who didn't start. But Taylor Barnard has returned to Abu Dhabi victorious. What a way to start the year. Epic stuff. Absolutely terrific from Taylor Barnard. That's exactly how he wanted this year to begin. When I spoke to him this morning, he said, I've got one objective and one objective alone. I'm here to win. I don't have anything else on my radar. Tuka Tarpanen, a good start to the day for him. Good start to the season, his first Formula Regional race, and he crosses the line in second place. Hopefully that's where he's going to stay. But Taylor Barnard, the boy done good. What a start to 2024 for the British Charger. So many people recommend this boy. He was under the tutelage of Nico Rosberg in the early days of his karting, and there's no surprising why. Great job for the whole team and for Taylor Barnard. Paul Muller of the PHMX Racing Squad will be very happy with his lad. There's Martini Stenshorn, full credit to him as well. What an opening lap he had to work his way forward into fourth position, and then he got himself up to third past James Wharton. But Taylor Barnard has come straight out of the blocks and done a sensational job. We still have the podium ceremony to come, which I shall be conducting. I know, it's almost like I can't get around fast enough in this paddock. But what a fabulous battle it's been for Taylor Barnard. A terrific run ahead of Tuka Tarpanen and Martini Stenshorn. Taylor Barnard certainly looks worn out, but he's had a fabulous run to get there. Excellent performance from the young Brit, and a terrific win. Everyone enjoying the moment for him, with him, and on his behalf as well. Terrific stuff. So we'll give a pause, and we'll show you some of the highlights of that fabulous race, and then we will return with the podium. But what a job from Martini Stenshorn, Tuka Tarpanen, and your race winner, Taylor Barnard. That man is going to have a very good 2024 if this race is anything to go by. Ladies and gentlemen, the podium ceremony is about to get underway then for the first of our Formula Regional Middle East Championships certified by FIA Race Weekends. And what a fabulous first race of the season here at YAS Marina. We're going to welcome three very worthy drivers to the podium then after an exceptional first race of the season. In third position for Norway, Martinius Stenshorn. A big congratulations to Martinius Stenshorn for the Race GP squad, very deserving of his place on the rostrum. In second position for Finland, Tukka Tapponen. A brilliant opening race in Formula Regional for Tukka Tapponen. Up to second position in fine style for the Race GP squad. But your race winner here at YAS Marina for the United Kingdom, Taylor Barnard! What a great run for the PHMX racing driver on the top step of the podium. For the United Kingdom, he's back in Formula Regional Middle East and he's back to the top spot. Excellent work. And now it is my honor to invite Mr. Ong Mochai, the Deputy General Manager of GT Tyre, China Investment Company, who will present the trophies to our three drivers on the rostrum. A very fantastic opening race of the season then. We start with our man in third position for Norway and Race GP, Martinius Stenshorn. And in second position for Finland and Race GP, Tukka Tapponen. And of course to our race winner for Great Britain, Taylor Barnard. And for the rookie winner, it is, of course, Tukka Tapponen who takes the Rookie Cup. Second position in his first ever Formula Regional race. An amazing performance, and we've got some very worthy drivers then on our first rostrum of the season here in Abu Dhabi. We'll invite the drivers onto the middle step of the podium for the photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, Martinius Stenshorn, Tukka Tapponen and Taylor Barnard. And after a fabulous opening race, they get to celebrate in style in the time-honored tradition here at YAS Marina. They can now party on the podium, motor racing style. It might be time to run for it because it's time to get busy with the busy. A hearty congratulations. A fabulous run from our top three drivers then. An amazing opening race of the season. They'll be back for more in 2024. There's two great races coming up tomorrow, but we'll wrap it up there here at YAS Marina. There's more great racing from both F4 UAE and from Formula Regional Middle East tomorrow. But your winners, Kia Nakamura Berta and Taylor Barnard. We'll be back for more tomorrow. From Jake Sanson and all of us here, thank you very much. Good night. See you tomorrow.